What's up, guys? I'm Heath Pierce, and another week of matches are in the books, and you know what that means. It's time for the Kick Power Rankings. Now, let me remind you, the Kick Power Rankings are not just a list of the best teams in the world. This is a list of the teams that no one would want to be coming up against right now. And the whole point is to get the conversation started, so make sure you get down in the comments and let me know what you think is the best team in the world right now. But before we get to the list of the 10 best at the moment, I can't really see past starting with all of those who disappointed us. So let's start it off with our biggest losers. First up, it's gotta be Tottenham, who blew a chance to close the gap in the title race, losing to a fellow top 4 candidate, Liverpool. Liverpool were winless in the league in the new year, but blew Spurs off the pitch. Spurs do have the league best defense, but Sadio Mane could have had 4 goals in the first 30 minutes. They just couldn't handle him. Over to Germany for another biggest loser, RB Leipzig, who lost their second straight, this time to Hamburg, who are finally showing signs of life. They're now 7 points off the pace, and that should be about all they have in this title race. But my biggest loser is Dortmund, who keep shooting themselves in the foot every time that we think they're going to turn the corner. Last week they were flying high, and we even considered putting them in our KPR. In fact, most of the comments were begging for it. They had just beaten Leipzig and had been riding on a high since the winter break. A win this past weekend would have put them into the 3rd automatic Champions League position over Frankfurt, who themselves got crushed 3-0 by Leverkusen, but Dortmund choked against Darmstadt, who are dead last in the league. The only upside for us USA fans is that the oft-injured Terrence Boyd scored his first Bundesliga goal for Darmstadt, so I guess there is a silver lining. So congrats, Terrence, but seriously, Dortmund, get it together. Now back to some teams that have put a smile on our faces. At number 10, it's PSG. This team has been out of the spotlight quite a bit this season because of the excitement surrounding Monaco and Nice, but they're starting to look like a serious threat across multiple competitions. They've won 11 of their last 12. They're on the heels of Monaco in the league. In the final of the French League Cup, where they'll face off against Monaco, they're through to the final 16 of the Coupe de France, and they have a big matchup against Barca in the Champions League. Exciting times in Paris. This weekend, they won 3-0 at Bordeaux. Cavani had 2 goals, and Di Maria picked up a goal and an assist. And speaking of Cavani, yes, we give him a lot of stick for missing chances, but if you look at the numbers, he's quite lethal. 31 appearances, 33 goals. You really can't argue with those numbers. At number 9, it's Feyenoord. They picked up their 8th straight league win with a 2-0 result over Groningen, with 2 goals coming from man of the match Jens Toomstra. Even with PSV having gone 15 matches unbeaten and Ajax winning 5 straight, Feyenoord continue to look like the best team in the Eredivisie and have a 5-point lead at the top of the table and only 1 loss in their entire league campaign so far. That big home match against PSV at the end of the month should tell us a lot about who's taking the Dutch league title. Now for number 8, it's FC Porto. Porto won 2-0 on the day, this time away from home to Vitória Guimarães, with the winner coming from Porto's new signing, who actually arrived from Guimarães, where he only spent half a season. It's Suarez. The Brazilian striker scored the opener and eventual game winner, and now has 3 goals in his first 2 games for the club. This, guys, is the exact type of player you want to bring in during the winter transfer window, especially if your club is in form and you need just a little bit extra to make a true title challenge. Porto are now unbeaten in 18 in the league and 1 point behind first place Benfica in the table. Their biggest challenge awaits, though. They are in the thick of a title race and have dreams of a deep run in the Champions League, and they play Juventus in the round of 16. It's hard enough to manage just the league campaign, let alone the knockout stages of the Champions League. We're about to see how good they actually are. And at number 7, it's Manchester United. Man United are on fire at the moment and added another win to their impressive 16-match unbeaten streak in the league with a confident 2-0 win over Watford. Mata opened the scoring in the first half as they piled on more and more pressure on a Watford side that had never won at Old Trafford in the club's history. And then Martial added the second in the 60th minute, completing another solid performance for Mourinho's men. We were hard on this team early in the season because, well, they sucked. But they have more than answered the critics over the last few months. They're a point out of the top 4, they have a League Cup final coming up against Southampton soon, and they're still in the FA Cup, and they're in the round of 32 in the Europa League. Oh, and in that Europa League match, Paul Pogba gets the opportunity to take on his older brother, Florentine, who's a defender for Saint Etienne, which is pretty awesome. Now get down in the comments and let me know how you would handle playing against your sibling. Play nice, you know, all that brotherly love stuff, or absolutely try and destroy them. Let me know. And at number 6, it's Napoli. This team is quality right now, and in their final tune-up before taking on Real Madrid in the Champions League, they added another win with a cool 2-0 result over Genoa through goals from Zielinski and Giaccherini, with Dries Mertens bossing the game yet again. I know we've been talking this team up a lot lately, and that's because they will pose a serious threat to Real Madrid in the Champions League. They're unbeaten in 18 across all competitions. They've won 8 of their last 10 league matches while scoring tons of goals. If you watched our FFS, you'll know that I'm pretty sure Real will still be too much for the Italians, but if you support Napoli, you couldn't ask for your team to be in any better form going into that Champions League match than they're in right now. On to number 5, it's Chelsea, who picked up a 1-1 draw at Burnley. Now, for those that scoff at a result like that, I mean, who the hell are Burnley? Well, Burnley are in fact the 4th best home team in the Premier League, and they've won 9 of their 13 home games so far this year, which is pretty damn impressive. In this one, Chelsea got an early goal from Pedro on yet another sweeping counterattack, which Chelsea must have a trademark on or something, but Burnley leveled through a stunning Robbie Brady free kick. In the end, a point was a fair result for both sides and inches Conte's men out to a solid lead ahead of the chasing pack. At number 4, it's Juventus. The old lady picked up a much predicted 2-0 win away from home versus a struggling Cagliari side who only managed 1 win in their last 6. Both goals from Juve came from the current Serie A man of the era, Gonzalo Higuain. That might sound obvious because of how good he was for Napoli last year, but the truth is he had a pretty average first half of the season and now has 12 and 12 across all competitions and is now up to 18 goals in the league and tied for first in the Golden Boot race with Dzeko. Juve hold a 7-point lead at the top of the table over Roma, which is just enough cushion for them to be able to manage rotating some of their starters next weekend versus lowly Palermo in order to be fresh for the Champions League clash with Porto. At number 3, it's Bayern Munich. Do you think they ever get tired of being the best team in Germany? I doubt it. They look to finally be pulling away from the likes of RB Leipzig and Frankfurt after snatching a dramatic 2-0 road win over fellow Bavarians Ingolstadt. It was not the vintage Bayern performance, and for 90 minutes, it felt like a draw was on the cards. But when you have a team of world-class players that can make a difference on any given day, results just appear out of nowhere. This time, it was Arturo Vidal who made the breakthrough in the 90th minute, and then Robben added a second moments later. Heading into the match against Arsenal, Bayern have won 13 of their last 14 matches in all competitions, and that 7-point lead in the table means they already have one hand on the Deutsche Meisterschale. And sticking at number 2, it's our boys Monaco. Another week and another smashing for the French league leaders, this time 5-0 over Metz. 18-year-old Kylian Mbappe Lawton, another one of their young superstars, had a hat-trick inside of 50 minutes, and Falcao added a brace. John Stones and that Manchester City backline must be shitting themselves right now. If I had to put a price on Monaco's current best 11 if they were to all transfer after the season, it'd be well over 300 million euro, which in theory is up there with Europe's best club player values. Talk about talent. And coming in at number 1, it's Barcelona. Welcome to the top. They were all over Alaves on the road this weekend to the tune of 6-0, with Suarez picking up a brace and 2 assists, while Neymar and Messi each had a goal to their name. Barcelona now have 1 loss in their last 22. The loss, by the way, was a first leg bout against Athletic Bilbao in the Cup, which they ended up going through on over 2 legs, so it wasn't really a loss at all. And speaking of Cups, Barcelona took down Atletico Madrid over 2 legs last week and will now play Alaves in the final of the Copa del Rey. Yes, Barcelona are playing the team in the final of the Cup for a trophy against the team they just crushed 6-0 away. While MS Co are 1 point out of first, and Real have 2 games in hand, they are peaking into form at the perfect point in the season, and Suarez and Messi are 1 and 2 in the race for the Pichichi trophy. They play PSG away midweek, and then they'll face Atletico again, this time in the league, in 2 weeks. The title's very much in Real Madrid's hands, but if they slip, Barcelona will be surely waiting in the shadows to snatch away that trophy because they are hot right now. So guys, that's our power rankings. Hit us up in the comments and let us know if you give our list a seal of approval. Follow, like, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later.